Hey everyone, this is Mr. Landry here, and I'm going to go ahead and just answer a couple of questions that I've gotten from various students about SketchUp. Okay, so the first question I got was about the camera, just getting control of the camera. So it really does help if you have a 3-button mouse. So you have a left click to select, you have a right mouse click to bring up the menu, and then most importantly, you have the mouse wheel so that you can actually navigate around in 3D. Unfortunately, if you have a trackpad, because you have a laptop, you can do it, but it's really terrible. You have to like pinch and zoom your fingers to zoom in, and then yeah, it's just not great. You're going to have to use the tools over here, and these will give you everything. It just will be slower. So down here, if you click on this bottom tool here, this is where you basically get all the navigation. So the very first tool is Orbit, and so you can just click and then drag with another finger on your trackpad, and there you go. Now, if you're using a mouse that doesn't have 3 buttons or doesn't have the mouse wheel, again, click down on this tool here, get the Orbit button, and just left mouse click and drag, and you'll be able to orbit. Again, you can click on the second tool is the pan tool. It looks like a hand, and you can just pan up and down, left and right. Then you've got the zoom in and zoom out. So the very first one is zoom, so you can click and drag, zoom in and zoom out based on your mouse movements. The fourth tool is to zoom a window, so you can click and drag around what you want to see and it will zoom in on that area. And then the last button is to, I believe it's called zoom extents, and it's basically where you click and it'll just snap so that you can see everything. So that's pretty handy. So the tools are all there. Obviously the best thing is if you do have a 3-button mouse, so that way you can stay with your drawing tools and then just use your mouse wheel if you've got it. But if you don't have a 3-button mouse, this last tool down here, that's the way you're going to go. Okay, the next question was asking, comparing it to Blender, they were asking, is there a fly mode where you can kind of fly around through SketchUp and kind of interactively just go places? The closest thing that SketchUp has to that is this button here. It's the second from the bottom. And you can just see what they are. It has a walk tool. And then you can also then position your camera, and you can actually do something called look around. So walking is kind of like where you click and you just move your mouse upwards, and you can see it's kind of like I'm walking forwards, and then I can pull back and I can kind of walk backwards. So that's about as close as SketchUp gets to it. Honestly, I don't find this very good or interactive. I find that just panning, zooming, panning, orbiting, that's just much more straightforward. Okay, the next question I got from students is there a way that you can do materials? So can you do this? So yes and no. SketchUp does have a paint bucket tool right here, and if you click on the paint bucket, you can then do everything from simple colors to textures. The problem is that those textures will not come out into the Blender game engine, so it won't help out. I wish it did, and I wish it automatically did UV mapping, but it doesn't. But here's how it is. So you click on the paint bucket tool, and then over here it should open up materials. If it doesn't, you can click on this cube over here with a little checkerboard pattern, and you can go ahead and click on something. So I'll click on this blue brick, and if I just click, it literally just puts it in there. And so that's pretty cool. It's super small, but if I zoom in, you can see it better. So that's neat. And so your next question might be, how do you make it bigger so that you can see the bricks better? And I'll just choose a different one so you can see it better. And for the top, we can put this roof one in. And you can see that all of them are really, really, really small. As far as I know, with the free version of SketchUp, you can't change the size or the scale of a texture. And so you're kind of left with it like this. Over here, you can look up other textures and things like that. And so that's done with this button right here, where you get all different categories. So if I go here to colors, I can just choose any solid color I want, and then I can just do it there, and you'll see that that color has taken the place. What's more fun though is of course all of the images. So I can choose patterns and put patterns there, which works, you know, pretty well. Again, you can't change the size. Here's bricks. Again, I think that it's on purpose. It's too small, which then of course makes you want to bring it in. You have to upgrade so that you can actually change it. But they've got things like water, which is really cool. So you could add that in there. The reason why I didn't show this before for my video game students is because even if you set it up and you like it here in SketchUp, when you export it from SketchUp and then import it into Blender, none of the materials will come over, unfortunately. I wish it did, and I wish it was sort of be an awesome, fast way to do UV mapping, but that isn't there. So if you want to just do it for fun and stay in SketchUp, you can totally do that with that there. Okay, I had 2 more questions. So one was about erasing or cleaning up the model and having kind of ugly lines or lines that just didn't look good. So the way to erase lines is you can do it, you can either click on the eraser tool and then just really get that little circle right on the line, and then you left mouse click and then click to erase, and hopefully you get it. I'm going to undo those. The other way you can erase is you can take the selection tool, click right on the thing that you want to erase, so that way you're very precise, and then press the delete key to delete it. The person that asked me this question said that when they erase, sometimes an entire face disappears. So like that. So like that happens. And you can see that I have this little line right here. So I would erase that just to clean it up. So what you can do is now you can heal your building. So take the pencil tool and watch this. If I come over here and it snaps onto the endpoint, and I left mouse click, and then I just let it snap to this endpoint here, once SketchUp realizes that that's a good line, and when I say a good line, I mean it's drawn in the X, Y, or Z direction. Once it does that, you'll see that it fixed this front face here, and it fixed the roof as well. So the answer is to erase or delete the lines that are at weird angles, or they're just extras and you don't need them in there. Clean them up, get them rid of things. Yes, it will delete some faces, but then just take the good old pencil tool and go back in and draw lines, and it should heal itself back together again. Okay, so I think I've got one last question, and the question was about making stairs. So I'm going to kind of show you 2 ways that I go about making stairs. And let me get over here. I'm going to get into views, and I'm going to start in the top view. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the first easy way to do stairs, and I'm going to start off with just a good old rectangle. So if I go ahead and I drag out a rectangle here like that, and then I'll go ahead over here and grab the push-pull tool, and now I've got a single stair. So one way you can do this is sort of the good old copy and paste method. So I'm going to take the selection arrow, and I'm going to drag a box around the whole stair, and it selects the whole thing. Once I've got that selected, now I'm going to copy by pressing Control-C. There we go. Oops, actually it's not Control-C. On a Mac, it is Command-C. So on a Windows or Chromebook, it would be Control-C. And then I'm going to press Control-V or Command-V, and I'm going to paste it. And you'll see that when I pasted it, it kind of grabs onto the corner there. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight, and I'm just going to have it touch that endpoint right there, and left mouse click, and there we go. So I'm going to do that again. Again, Control-C or Command-V. Sorry, Control-C or Command-C. Then to paste it, Control-V or Command-V. And then it automatically puts it there. And then I just snap it, touch to that side, and then there we go. And you can just keep doing that, and you'll end up with an entire staircase. Now, if you want to go much faster, take your selection tool, select all of them, and repeat. Copy, paste, and now you've got 3, and this of course goes much faster, and you can do that again. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you another way. So I'm going to go over here to my views, and I'm going to go to a side view. And in my side view, so now I'm in my side view, and one really cool helpful thing that I didn't mention in my last couple of videos is over here on the left hand side of views, you have this first button is perspective. This second is called parallel projection. In Blender, that's called orthographic. So if I click on it, you'll see that now I get a true side view without any perspective. And so this is really helpful, okay? So this is perspective on and perspective off. All right, so now I'm just going to take the pencil tool and grab the pencil tool. There we go. It's actually called the line tool. And I'm just going to go ahead and draw an entire staircase here. So I'm going to go ahead and start right about here. I'm just going to click, I'm going to drag, and I'm going to go ahead and type in some numbers here because I want them to be the same. So I'm going to go up. I'm going to do about 8 inches going up, so 8 inches, and I do the inches symbol and press return. And then I'm going to go in this direction. This is the green axis, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to do 1 foot. So again, I'm going to do the 1 foot symbol, and I'm going to do it like that. Okay, now I'm going to zoom in. You can see that this is really small, but these are actually dimensions that would work for real stairs. All right, so again, I'm going to repeat. I'm going to go up in the blue axis. I'm going to do 8 inches up, and then I'll go in this direction, 1 foot. And again, I'll go ahead and repeat, and I'm going to pause the video so you can just see when I'm done. Okay, so here I've drawn a couple stairs, and now I want to finish it up. So I'm just going to continue drawing, and I'm going to go down here, and let's see if it actually snaps to it. So what I want to do is I want to obviously stop drawing at the exact line that matches up with this. So the way that you do it is you simply come over here, and you just let the pencil tip touch the end point here. Don't click anything, just let it touch. Then carefully move your mouse pointer out to the side until they both snap. So if you look closely, I'm snapped on the blue line, the blue axis, and the green axis, and that's how I know I'm in the right spot. Now I mouse click, and then I mouse click here to close it up, and there is my staircase. I'll go back and I'll turn on perspective so it looks normal. Let me zoom in. And now to finish this up, I take my good old friend, the push-pull tool, select it, and I pull it out until I get that, and I have an entire staircase. Okay, so that's 2 methods oops, let me fix this. Okay, so before I go, I'm going to select the entire staircase, and I'll show you another tool here. So obviously, now these stairs are modeled to the correct size. It's 8 inches going up, that's called the rise, and 12 inches or a foot, that's called the tread. That's where you actually step. But let's say I wanted to make this bigger. How would I do that? So if you come on over here, let's see. The underneath the move tool is the rotate tool and is the scale tool. So if I click on the scale tool, whoops, looks like I need to select that again. So if I select this all, and then I go over here and click on the scale tool, now I get this crazy cage-like thing. So now if I just click on one of these corners, let me pan around or orbit around. If I click on one of these corners here, it's a little, if I click and I drag on one of the corners, you'll see that I can go ahead and I can scale the whole thing up and make it as big as I need. Sometimes I have to orbit my view to really get a good angle. There we go. And I can go ahead and I can scale that up. So yes, it is different than Blender. Yes, there are some tools and features that work a lot better in Blender, and there are also some tools that work a lot better inside SketchUp as well. Okay, so that is going to be it for me. I'm almost at 15 minutes, which is my limit. Hopefully this answers some of the questions that I received, and good luck with your SketchUp work. See you next time.